Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Off-Farm Income Podcast. Hey, thank you so much for joining us here on our YouTube channel for episode number 1015. Well, today we are taking you out to Kentucky, and we are getting outside the box. Man, that is an overused cliche. I know it is. I just don't know what else to replace it with, but we really are. We're speaking with a young lady, Katherine Woodward from Logan County High School, FFA, and she's going to be talking to us all about overcoming fear, about marketing her business and doing things that she doesn't see anybody else doing to make herself stand out. There's really a great story in here and some really great advice. Excited to bring it to you. We're going to get it started for you right now. Katherine, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you for having me.
You bet. I am looking forward to speaking with you and to finding out all about you and everything you've been doing. Where are you talking to us from today?
I live in Auburn, Kentucky. I'm currently at my house, but I'm from Logan County.
Okay, from Logan County. And you're at home. Are you guys still doing like a hybrid school schedule? Are you still doing virtual learning? What's going on with you?
We're still hybrid right now. I go on Mondays and Wednesdays, but starting in about 2 weeks, we're going to go back to 4 days a week. So That'll be good.
Okay, yeah, good. I know it feels like we're kind of moving back towards normal. So hopefully it keeps going in this direction. Very cool. So yes. You live in Logan County. It's always fascinating to me. I live in Idaho, and out here in the West, our counties are really large, geographically speaking. And whenever I speak to folks back in your area of the country, they always talk about the county they live in, not the town, but the county. It's so interesting to me. So is that kind of when you meet new people back there in Kentucky, they always introduce themselves as to what county they're from?
Yes, that's just kind of, our towns are all so small, so it's kind of hard to just, when you say Auburn, it's like, well, where's that at? So Logan County kind of gives them more of a sense of where it's at.
Okay. I'm jealous. I like small towns. I like a lot of small towns. All right, very good. Now, you're at home. Are you on a farm? Are you in town or something in between those two?
I live on my family farm. I've lived here my whole life.
Okay. And how long has that farm been in your family?
It's been in our family over 100 years. So It's definitely, yes.
A century farm. That's really cool.
Yes, it's very special.
That is. Did you and your family, did you celebrate that when you hit that 100-year mark?
I'm not really sure because I don't think it's been several years since we've hit that mark. Okay. So I wasn't really around to really celebrate that. So.
I hear you. Okay. And what kind of farming goes on there?
I do mostly row crops. So it's wheat, corn, soybeans. And then we used to have cattle and tobacco when my grandfather was alive, but we don't do that anymore. And then I recently just started my honeybees here. Okay.
So the farm, wheat, corn, and soybeans. So a rotation there, I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm.
And you've replaced the cattle with bees. We're going to talk about that here in a little while. Okay. And you're currently a junior in high school?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How long have you been part of the FFA?
I've been part of the FFA since my freshman year of high school.
Okay. So what brought you in? Why'd you want to join?
I kind of just saw it as just kind of a club, and some of my family had been in it. So I kind of saw it as something that I kind of wanted to do. And then I got more involved as I started getting into the contest and running for office, and I found out that I really loved it.
Awesome. That is great. So kind of that family inspiration and people around you, but you found your groove in there.
Yes.
Okay. And you're currently serving as your chapter's vice president?
I am. I was just elected last Thursday.
Hey, congratulations. Happy to tell you. Yeah, that's great. Wonderful. So you're serving as your chapter's VP. What made you want to get into an officer role?
At first, I kind of just did it to be in something, like I said. But as I started getting into the contest and doing the speaking contest, that kind of motivated me. It kind of got me out of my comfort zone. I think I did junior parley my freshman year, and I really liked it and I enjoyed it. And then I started getting into more of my speaking contest, and I liked it, and it got me out of my comfort zone, like I said. And last summer, I went to state and I competed in state for goat and sheep, and that just really motivated me to do more and serve as this.
Okay. And so you went to state and competed in goat and sheep. you show goats and lambs as well?
I do not. That was kind of something new that I had learned. I had thought about at one time doing goats and raising, but I kind of figured I needed to wait till after college when I'm going to be here more to like take care of them. Because again, it's a new process to start and it's a lot to learn. So I eventually do one day want to do goats, but not right now.
Okay, very good. All right. Well, so you're off to a great start. You got a year to go yet in the FFA. I guess you'll be wrapping up your junior year of high school here in a couple months. And so that's very exciting. How many FFA advisors do you have there?
We have two. We have Wesley Estes and Mr. Campbell.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for acknowledging them. Let's talk about your supervised agricultural experience. So we know it's bees, but tell us the rest of the story.
Okay, so I was looking for an SAE my sophomore year, and I didn't really know like what I wanted to do, but I knew I wanted to do something a little bit different. So I'd always thought like honeybees were cool, but I was scared to death of bees, and that was something that I didn't really think I would do. The more I looked into it, I did a few classes at Kelly Beekeeping, and I realized it was something that was unique and not a lot of people did around here, especially younger kids. And it was something that you absolutely need for agriculture. So I decided to take a few more classes. And then last April was when I got my first 4 nooks. And that's where it all started.
Okay. So actually, you're just coming up on 1 year of having bees.
Yes.
Were you able to harvest any honey last year?
I could, but I didn't. It's one of those things where some people say you can and some people can't say you can't. I chose not to. That way that they make sure that they have enough honey to eat off throughout the winter. And I'm very happy that I did that considering the winter we've had here.
Oh my goodness, that's right. Do you have any idea yet how your bees fared through that polar vortex you guys just went through?
I went down there about a week ago after everything was kind of cleared out. It was warmer and sunnier days. I went down there and they were all flying out. So I haven't lost any hives.
Okay.
So that felt good to know that I haven't lost any.
You know, it's interesting. I get to interview FFA students from all over the country. And a few weeks ago, we interviewed a young man raising bees in, oh man, I'm going to forget the name of the town, but it's right on the North Dakota and Canadian border in Montana. And he talked all about the big challenges of winterizing bees. But of course, living where he lives, that's a must. You've got to make sure you winterize them really, really well. Where you're at, is that something that you pay that much attention to every winter? Or do you figure, oh, they're going to be fine, they're going to get through, and then something comes through like this polar vortex you just dealt with where you go, oh my goodness, I should have done more?
It's kind of different for every beekeeper. This year, I didn't really winterize anything. I just kind of, at first I had thought about it, but then I thought, well, I'm just going to see how they do this year, considering I didn't know how the winter was going to go. But I did make candy boards for them, but I didn't wrap my hives. They have this black wrap you can use. I chose not to do that because some people say it doesn't really work. And I figured they would keep themselves warm enough in there. And I made sure I have my introducers on the smallest setting. So the amount of cold air that got up in there was minimized.
Okay. Well, it sounds like you've already got the good news. You went out there and they're flying out. And it's interesting. You had that unbelievable cold snap, but in the grand scheme of your entire season, how was that, like 5 days, 6 days? How long did it last?
It was about 6-7 days.
6 or 7 days.
It was really cold.
And so, but prior to that, they were probably in pretty good shape, and then they come out of it to warm weather again. So yeah, hopefully beekeepers are making it through all around. I'm glad you are as well. Tell us about yeah, you bet. Tell us about the name of your business. Where's that come from?
Blacklit Creek Apiary. That is, I tried coming up with all kinds of different names, but nothing like really like suited me. And so the creek that runs through our family farm is called Blacklit Creek.
Okay.
So I kind of took it that came from the farm again. And that's actually the bees where they get their water source from, is the creek. So it kind of just flowed into each other. And then the apiary is a place, basically a bee yard.
Right.
It's the area where you keep your bees. So that just kind of played into that.
I think it's perfect. It says what you do, and there's something authentic about your place in it. That's a great business name. So let's talk about the business idea then. So this is an entrepreneurship SAE?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you did not harvest honey this past August, but that's for very good reason. That was a wise decision. But now this summer, I assume that you probably are hoping to. So then how will the business unfold after you have that first honey harvest? What will you do?
So I recently received a grant to build a honey house where I will extract my honey. And that gives me a place to extract my honey, and I'll do that around July. So in that area, that will provide me a place to sell my honey along with other products. And I hope to hopefully maybe have a festival this July or August. And so maybe incorporate some of the other SAEs in my FFA. There's different things that people have done. So maybe just incorporating both of that. That'll also get my product out there and more of my name too.
Really, really cool. Okay, so did you get an SAE grant? Is that what you received?
Yes, I received one from Kentucky FFA, and then I received one through Kentucky State University, and that was to build my honey house.
That is great. How much were you able to receive?
$5,000.
Oh my goodness, that is a significant grant. Now, I know from doing this show that Kentucky does a great job of supporting ag students in entrepreneurship, and it sounds like that you got involved in that as well. That is really well done. My goodness. I am used to hearing $1,000 as a grant amount, as a top end grant amount, $5,000. That is great. So that's really gonna give you a kickstart to get going.
Yes, absolutely.
That is wonderful. Okay, so you talked about a couple things. I want to touch on what you talked about. You talked about selling honey and other products. Tell me about other products you've got in mind to sell.
So I thought about this festival to incorporate, since it's going to be maybe an FFA event, to incorporate other SAEs. One of the persons in our chapter, he does popcorn on his family farm. And then another, she just started doing pinto beans. Some people make jewelry and candles and different things like that. So I feel like having a little festival to kind of market everybody's SAE, that'll really help our chapter too. But it'll also kind of helped me draw in business for my honey for being my first year.
Okay, that's a really good idea. So you're thinking about putting together a festival where you and your classmates or your fellow chapter members all come together, and you all have the opportunity to, I guess, educate people about your projects and about agriculture, but also sell your products at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great idea. It's the first I've ever heard of somebody doing that. That is a wonderful idea. So when do you harvest honey in Kentucky?
I could harvest it this spring, or I can wait to more in July. And I think that's what I'm going to do. That way, when I get my honey, I have more honey, and I'm not just going to spend a little bit at a time. That way I have a good amount.
Okay, really cool. So as you're thinking about doing this festival, what stage of the planning are you in? Is it still just kind of a seed of an idea? Have you started pursuing people who would participate? Tell me more about that.
It's still a little bit of an idea. I'm still trying to work everything out. So it's still in the slow process of becoming more.
That would be great. Where at least at this point, as you're thinking about it, where would you have it?
I would have it here on my family farm. I'm thinking of having it where my honey house is going to be, since that's going to start pretty soon on building it. That way it kind of gives us a good place. It's kind of out of the way, not really around anything. But I could also, maybe if someone wanted to see where their honey came from, they could take a look down at the apiary and kind of look at the beehives and see what that does.
Yeah, that's cool. That's a great idea. And what a great way to market your product too, to give the community something to do. And then they start learning about your product and all of that. That is wonderful. Do you know how you want to market your honey yet? Like different sizes, different types of containers? Are you going to do anything with wax or anything like that? Have you gotten that far?
So far, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stick to the regular 1 pound and 2 pound honey.
Okay.
And kind of do it in that way. But I recently came up with another way to market my honey, and that was honey by zip code. Like I said, our county is pretty big. So since I live in Auburn, I have a different zip code than Russell. So I have made plans this year to where I'm going to have my 4 hives at my house on my farm. And then I'm going to have 2 hives in a different zip code in Russellville on a farm. And then I'm going to put one in Simpson County at my grandparents' house, and then one in Woodward, which is in Warren County. That way I can reach more of my customers, because the closer your honey is to you, the more beneficial to your health that is. And so I think that's a unique way of marketing it. I've never really seen anybody do that before around here.
No, that is a unique way, but I think it's a great thought. And you're right. The closer the bees are to where you live, the more they're going to help you with allergies and things like that, right? Yeah, that's really good. Oh, man, I'm excited for you. You are a marketer. Those wheels are turning. That is really cool. Okay, so I want to take you back to the beginning again. You said earlier that you were really, really afraid of bees. So, you're really afraid of bees and you're starting a honey business. Most people are going, okay, what are you thinking? So how did you overcome that fear? What did you do?
Believe it or not, last April when I went to get my bees, I was still very scared. But I kind of just had to get out of my comfort zone, and I got in my suit that day, and I kind of just had to be calm and kind of just get over that fear. And once I got in there and I started pulling my nooks out and putting them in, I saw how cool it was. And I saw, even being around thousands of bees, they're not going to sting you. And I didn't get stung once that day. So that kind of helped encourage me some.
Okay. Have you been stung at all?
I have. I was stung several times this year. I never really had an allergic reaction until one day I was treating my hives and I got stung several times. And I kind of whelped up a little bit, but other than that, it wasn't too bad.
Okay. What went wrong that day that you got stung several times?
I think they were irritated because we were getting down in their brood chamber, and it wasn't the warmest day, and that's usually when you have to do it. And it wasn't very warm. It was probably 60s, 50s. And so they were a little bit irritated that day.
Okay. Very interesting. Well, so where are you thinking you want to take this business? I mean, obviously, you're right in the beginning stages of it, but you're going to be moving into your senior year of high school next year. And then after that, who knows? I guess you can tell us what's after that. But where do you think you'd like to take this business?
So with building my honey house, I one day want to also turn it into a market. And just kind of create my business a little bit bigger and maybe get my foot out the door a little bit more. I thought about doing ag business, and I think that would help me reach more farmers and maybe putting hives at different places for that pollination.
Yeah, that is great. So ag business and a market. So this is like the nucleus. This is the beginning of what will become your market. Do you envision yourself coming back to this century farm that your family has?
Absolutely, 100%.
And has direct marketing of products like you're about to be doing, has that ever been part of the history of this farm, or will you be the first one to do that?
I think I will be the first. We've never really done anything like this before. We had cattle, but it wasn't really, there was no show, there was no meat production with it or anything. So I will be the first to do something like this.
That is great. Okay. Well, do you have your eyes on a college or anything like that for ag business? What are you thinking there?
I've looked at a few. I thought about Western Kentucky University, and then University of Kentucky, and then maybe Murray State.
Okay. Man, I'm excited for you. That sounds like a lot of fun. Well, Katherine, I am really looking forward to seeing how this goes. We'd love to get photographs and follow up with you to see how the festival goes. I think it's a great idea. And, you're such an outside the box thinker. I'd love to ask your advice for other FFA students. I mean, think about this. You were deathly afraid of bees, and now here you are, and you're going to have a festival all orbiting around your bee business. So you overcome that fear. You're marketing in a different way that you're testing. People have never tried it before. Why do you, if another student was asking you why you like to get outside of the box so much, what would you tell them?
One, I felt encouraged by my chapter, just because it was something unusual for one, but I feel like it really helps you in the long run. It teaches you life lessons that you're going to need to learn. Before, I would have been scared to death to go up to someone or do an interview like this. So it really prepares you for life, I feel like. And because you're not always going to be in a comfortable situation, so you have to learn to get out of your comfort zone before you really get into the real world and you get in those uncomfortable situations.
Yeah, that is very true. Katherine, this has been a lot of fun. Good luck to you. Thank you so much for coming on today.
All right. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, thank you for being here, everybody, and thank you to Katherine Woodward for joining us here on the Off-Farm Income Podcast today. Hey, we would love to have you as a subscriber to our YouTube channel. Please click that subscribe button below and become one of our subscribers and get all of our videos with our great agricultural interviews. And we'd love to have you connect with us on social media as well. Please like or follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn, all under the title Off-Farm Income. And everybody, until next time, enjoy your journey to the ultimate lifestyle business, agriculture.